Wait a minute, take a look at this.
In the eyes of the Iranian people, but the world global economy, which they're holding all hostage to, the more everybody comes to realize this is all about the IRGC. At the end of the day, we're going to have to need a government in Iran that not only hands over the nuclear material, stops threatening the Straits of Hormuz, but quits exporting the Islamic Revolution throughout the region, causing the collapse of Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, Syria, and as well as in the eyes of the Iranian people.
So this clip from Fox News Live is really spreading like wildfire across social media, because you can clearly tell that this man, this entity, whatever this happens to be, is clearly wearing a mask. The man in the clip is retired Navy SEAL Commander Robert Harward, and I believe he was talking about Trump and the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody really knows because we are also focused on his neck. I'm just waiting for the fact checkers to come out of their toilets and sewers they reside in to tell us that our eyeballs are lie balls and that what we're seeing we did not actually see. Here's a photo of him very recently on the right, and here he is on the left. But not just that, somebody compared his voice from just a couple days apart, and he even sounds different.
Involved, but again, their interests are at play here, but so are European interests, the rest of the Gulf nations, and so far, every time on his hands. He controls the narrative, he controls the strike capabilities, and he knows.
He definitely sounds different. Now, it could be the simple fact that different news agencies are using different audio adjustments, but given the context of what we're talking about here, it still adds to the strangeness. Some people believe that this may be a deep state individual, maybe from another country, wearing a mask pretending to be him. Even the CIA has come out with multiple articles talking about a chief of disguise having hyper-realistic mask. But why would they want to impersonate Robert Harward? I mean, what sway does he hold? To me, this reminds me of the TV show V, where the reptoids in disguise, their masks start falling apart. It's just very interesting quote-unquote coincidental timing that right before this, we had Fox News talking about reptilians among us.
4 different types of life.
4 different types of life.
4 different species of aliens. Another scientist called them Greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails like a lizard.
And it's not just me saying this, but for example, this post on Reddit that currently has 1,200 upvotes, somebody took a still frame of this interview and they're saying that at certain frames, his tongue almost looks serpent-like. Could even be a robot, who really knows, but no matter how hard I try to make sense of what I'm looking at here, the only thing I can see is a mask. We had the very insufferable Chris Cuomo come out and say, what a silly thing to focus on and drive suspicion. Deal with reality. There are plenty of legitimate concerns. It's not a mask. And then he goes on to say, even if I don't know what it is, my not knowing what it is does not make it what you say it is. So he doesn't know what it is, but he knows it's not a mask. And you may agree with him that there are more legitimate concerns, but I do think it's okay for once in a while the public steps back and says, what in the world was that? What did I just see? Especially in the time that we're in, where we do have the news and media always lying, and we're in this quote-unquote alien agenda stage. And while Chris Cuomo is tweeting people telling them not to talk about this or focus on this, he 3 days ago made a video with Neil deGrasse Tyson, an hour long, talking about the very garbage government UFO files. Why we need to now start taking UFOs very seriously. Give me a break. The whole thing just flabbers my gassed. You know who this makes me miss? Tiffany, that MFer is not real Gomas, or the woman known as Tiffany Gomas anyway. But talking about reptiles, this news came out about one of the king lizards.
Do not be alarmed by what you're about to hear.
This is Radio Caroline. His Majesty King Charles III has passed away.
Just to be absolutely clear, King Charles III is alive and well. And whilst that announcement went out on Tuesday, he was on an official visit to Northern Ireland. Radio Caroline, based in England, has since apologised to the royals and their listeners for this scare, blaming a computer error for the mishap. But this isn't the first time the death of a royal has been wrongly announced. In 2015, the BBC ran a rehearsal for the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, according to a BBC Standards report, some staff were notified about the rehearsal, but not all. That meant that a journalist working for the BBC's language services saw an internal monitor showing the rehearsal, they began posting about the Queen's death, causing widespread speculation. The BBC then issued an apology whilst the posts were deleted.
Oh, I was so alarmed and worried that I even flipped my desk and was completely inconsolable. More than likely, he's just shedding into a new form, but I do find it interesting that came out not too long after he announced the digital ID for the United Kingdom. I guess he served his purpose. But I do wonder, when they announce this officially, is Princess Diana's voice going to make a return like she did with Queen Elizabeth, telling us this?
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's
As you can see, here in London, it is.
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's trapped. I don't know what kind of context that fits in a normal world during a funeral procession, but I guess the new form had failed.
So I thought these were scabs. And then I'm like, well, why would I have a scab? So this morning I realized I had these things in between my nails. And I thought, oh, is it dirt? And then I looked closer, I was like, oh, it looks like a scab. And then I'm talking to my mom on the phone, and I'm just kind of like playing around with my hands, and I'm realizing that these are actually seed ticks. And they're on this hand too. Once I realized they were on multiple of my hands, that's when I was like, what are these? That is a seed tick. So be careful, people. I mean, that these ticks can be in plain sight and you can still miss them. I literally mostly just noticed these two, and I thought, oh, it kind of looks like a little bit of a scab or something in between my hands. I don't know what happened. Must have hurt myself a little bit. Then I look closer and they're like ticks. This is wild. I took a shower last night. I was sitting in my sauna for like 45 minutes. I was sweating. I don't remember seeing these things. Or if I did, I thought it was just scabs or something. I don't know, but I was showering. I did everything.
I'm playing this video because I have never heard of seed ticks before. Not saying they never existed or it's some kind of Mandela effect. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I never heard of it before, but apparently they're just baby ticks that embed into your skin. They don't go all the way inside. But as tiny babies or larvae, you can barely see them. You would probably mistake them to be just a freckle. They'll go ahead and attach their needle-like mouths and embed it into your skin. And here I thought that tick chasing that man aggressively was going to be the most disturbing tick video I've seen in quite some time.
Something happened in Ecuador and it left local residents absolutely terrified. And there's a little bit of context you need to know about this video. So the witnesses noticed all the lights flashing down the streets. That's what pulled them out into the road and started recording. And then they saw this bright red glowing object coming down on the street. But that's not what freaked everybody out. As they're all watching the lights flickering, this glowing object literally on their street, something massive overhead passes. This thing is huge, and that's what sends people running. Take a look at this footage, comment below, let us know what you think is going on here and what that thing was.
That great video came from the Paranormal Chick. You can see the flashing lights. You can see whatever this red thing is fall out of the sky and then stay there. But even more bizarre was that massive shadow that went over top of them. You don't see whatever produced that shadow. It had to be something large, but you never see it. Matter of fact, you don't even hear it. Now, and I do wonder, whatever produced that massive shadow, did it also drop this red thing? What a weird video. But with that being said, what in the world also happened over in New Mexico?
A hazmat situation left 3 people dead and sent at least 18 first responders to the hospital. State police say officers were called to a home late this morning on Mountain Air on reports of a possible overdose and found 4 people unresponsive inside. 3 of them died. Hazmat crews later responded after first responders began experiencing headaches, nausea, and vomiting. Officials say carbon monoxide and natural gas have been ruled out. Investigators believe the substance is not airborne but can spread through contact. One neighbor described the scene as frightening.
It's a scary situation. It's just awful. I never thought something like this happened in Mountaineer. It's just awful. Just prayers to the family.
State police say 25 people were exposed in total, but there is no threat currently to the public.
So let me get this straight. Let me see if I can understand this. They have absolutely no idea what this substance is. News and media keep saying they're hearing from the officials, the authorities, that it's an unknown substance. About 18 to 20 people go inside this home. They end up sick from this substance. Those that were currently residing in this home pass away from this substance. Yet it is no threat to the public, even though, as of this recording anyway, they have no idea what this substance is. Is anybody else tired of the gaslighting?
I don't know if y'all have seen The Crash on Netflix about that girl who crashed her car and killed both the passengers on purpose. So the body cam footage was released from the police officer who arrested her. And did y'all hear what was caught on this body cam footage? It's crazy. So the police officer is putting her in the backseat of his cruiser, and you can hear a voice say, "She killed us." If you didn't hear it, I enhanced the audio and took a bit more of the background noise out and marked the moment when it says it, so we'll listen to it again. I mean, it's blatant. You hear it blatantly. The spirit of one of those boys were trying to tell that officer what happened. Police body cams catch a lot in situations like this. I don't even think people realize it. Like with the Watts family, when the police went into their home, their body cams captured all kinds of stuff. It's like these spirits are trying to reach out and tell the police what actually happened. It's crazy.
That video came from Whoa, That's Strange, and you can clearly hear that. Even the officer did too, because he asked, "What's that?" And I was going to say that before she did. This eerily reminds me of the Watts body cam footage as the police were going inside their home. They're picking up all kinds of eerie voices.
See, this is the reason why in the year 2026, if you rent, you either need a security camera indoors and outdoors, or need to be home whenever someone comes over to do repairs. And why do I say that? Because of people like this Michigan landlord right here, who came to a home to do repairs while the occupants were not home, but decided to do the nasty, and he was captured on their indoor video camera. Take a look at this for yourself.
Not really making himself at home, a tenant's home, that is, in Westland. They called him over to do home repairs and instead caught him in the act with a woman.
It allegedly happened Monday in Westland while Javon Crawford and his wife were in the hospital with his sick grandma. His wife started getting alerts from their security cameras on her phone.
She just pointed the phone to me and I seen him just doing what he was doing right here in our house.
Was it live?
It was live. Live footage.
Oh my God.
Time stamped and everything.
I mean, seriously, think about this for a minute. You're supposed to trust this individual right here to make repairs while you're away because that's what he's supposed to do. And instead he gets caught on that doing something he was not supposed to do. What the hell was he thinking? So I guess my question to you is, would you still live in that apartment after what he did and knowing what he's capable of doing? Or would you just get the hell out of there?
The eerie part about this news clip, outside of the fact that he's doing the nasty while his renters are not home, is the fact that if he's willing to do that, even though we live in a day and age where cameras are everywhere inside people's homes, just imagine what else he's willing to do. But in this next creepy video, more and more people are noticing, and these are two separate clips, but one of the clips comes from The Journey 76. They're noticing that food they get from certain locations, certain grocery stores, not even the wildlife will touch it or eat it.
Has anybody noticed that the birds, the deers, raccoons, they will not eat grocery store vegetables anymore? Like, I put out 3 cans of tuna for the feral cats that live in my neighborhood 3 days ago. They haven't touched it. These are hungry cats. They won't eat this tuna. I went out there after putting grapes that I got from a major retailer, starts with a K. I don't want TikTok to come after me. I put celery, grapes, and some green pepper and broccoli. that I let sit in my crisper too long and I didn't want it in my salad. I took it out there. It's still sitting out there. I seen the birds pick at it and they didn't want it. I seen the deer walk right over top of it. I've literally got peaches out there that I got from another big box store, not Aldi. Everything I have bought from Aldi under the organic section, if I put it out there, the animals, they go right after it. But that store that starts with a K, if the animals don't want to eat it, man, I'm done shopping at that place.
This is a cabbage that I threw out here 2.5 weeks ago for the chickens. The chickens won't eat it, and none of the wildlife will eat it. There are possums and skunks and raccoons and deer and all kinds of animals that should be interested in that cabbage. This is a cabbage that I threw out here 2.5 weeks ago for the chickens. The chickens won't eat it, and none of the wildlife will eat it. There are possums and skunks and raccoons and deer and all kinds of animals that should be interested in that cabbage.
Now, I don't know the stores that these individuals are getting these quote-unquote food products from that not even the animals touch. The one that begins with the letter K, I think we can guess which one that is. But I have noticed, especially when it comes to multiple varieties of bread, it's not molding like it used to. I remember when I was younger, bread would start to mold a few days after its best sell date, but now, when it comes to some of this bread anyway, you can have bread more than a week past its fresh date and you still won't see mold. But it's not just the food, it's the air itself. Just take a look at what they're spraying in the skies. This video comes from Beautymerc.
Stardust Solutions, an Israeli tech company, might I mention, says that its tiny spears can reflect the sun's rays without harming people or the environment. And here's everything that you need to know about it. A company at the forefront of solar geoengineering, the notion that blocking radiation from the sun could cool a warming planet, has disclosed details of the materials it wants to sprinkle in the atmosphere. Stardust Solutions, led by former members of Israel's nuclear energy program, of course, reveals the chemical properties of its particles, how they would affect the atmosphere, and how high-flying aircraft would disperse the material. As you can see, the privately held company founded in 2023, by the way, is farthest ahead in the contest to take an idea that was once the stuff of science fiction and move it into the mainstream. It has attracted $75 million from investors, has applied for a patent, and is submitting its research to scientific journals for peer review. Materials produced by Stardust are made from amorphous silica, which is used as a food additive and in some consumer products, and calcium carbonate, a compound found in eggshells and limestone. The company says its particles were biodegradable, were not harmful to people or animals, and would not accumulate in the oceans or soil. And released in the upper atmosphere, the particles could reflect a small amount of sunlight away from Earth, the company said. Dr. Yadvav, co-founder of Mayad Spector, and a team of 25 researchers have developed two kinds of particles, though. The first is made of amorphous silica and coated in material to prevent it from interacting with atmospheric gases. Second particle, though, is a shell of amorphous silica around an inner core of calcium carbonate. What's insane that I didn't know about, Dr. Yadvav noted that the Department of Homeland Security sprayed amorphous silica into the New York City subway system in 2016 as part of an experiment to test emergency preparedness against a potential bioterrorism attack. Silica was used as a non-toxic tracer to check how a potential pathogen might spread in the subway. And to make everything even better, Stardust executives said that the initial effort to begin atmospheric cooling would cost about $10 billion. That would cover the material, the aircraft that could disperse it at high altitudes, and a monitoring system using a chemical tag to track the particles in the air and later on the ground. Sure, why not? What could possibly go wrong, right?
Remember when this used to be a crazy quote-unquote conspiracy theory? Now they're just out there open with it. Yeah, we're doing it. What are you going to do about it? But let's stop at amorphous silica, because amorphous silica, they're even saying is in our foods, but now, and I'm sure it's been this way for quite some time, it's in the air we breathe. But short-term exposure of this causes irritation of the nose, throat, and lungs, leading to coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. Long-term exposure to this doesn't even have to be high level, can lead to reduced lung function, lung inflammation, or minor fibrosis. And they tell people, if you are around this stuff or working with this stuff, to make sure to wear personal protection equipment. And yet at the same time, we're being told by those that are going to spray this in the skies to reflect sunlight, it's safe. But let's say you complain about this because you do find it to be unsafe, you have proof that it's damaging your neighborhood, or even if you don't have proof but you just want to speak out, well, you just might find yourself arrested if you talk about this on social media. Take, for example, this crazy news story right here.
A woman says she was arrested after posting health and safety concerns about a city's drinking water on Facebook. It happened in Trinidad in Henderson County, southeast of Dallas. People who live there say the tap water sometimes looks and smells unsafe. When one woman shared her take on Facebook, the police department arrested her, and now she's suing. Fox 4's David Centendry is live with more from that city. David.
Yeah, well, some city leaders say there are issues with the water system and that there has been for quite some time. However, one woman's claim posted to Facebook that the water is making some people sick led to her being arrested.
Did you ever expect something like that Facebook post could get you arrested?
Not at all. A Facebook post made by Jennifer Combs, a wife, mother, and citizen journalist, led to her arrest by Trinidad Police Department on May 8th.
Did you have to spend the night in jail?
I did.
What was that like?
Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
And you've never even had a speeding ticket?
I have not ever had a speeding ticket. It was one of the most probably humiliating things I've ever went through in my entire life. It was very, very bad.
So what was the Facebook post about? The city's water supply.
The best way I could describe it is it looks like the Trinity River is flowing from their water taps.
The post from her page Southern Bell Watch reads, in part, "We have received reports that some citizens have been hospitalized due to bacteria in the water. This is a serious public health concern that deserves immediate attention. If your water looks discolored, contains sediment, has a strong odor, or you have experienced related health issues, please send us a message. We are gathering information and reporting findings to the state."
The police chief had screenshotted it and posted it on the Trinidad Police Department page.
The April 6th post by Trinidad Police calls what Combs wrote false information that creates fear, panic, or unnecessary emergency response within a community, eventually charging Combs with felony false alarm or report.
I feel like this is an extreme stretch.
So here inside Trinidad City Hall, the water looks clean, but some say it's a fluid situation depending on where you're at and when.
This is bathtub.
How would you describe the city's water situation right now?
The city's water situation is a struggle, without question.
Trinidad Mayor Dennis Hawes does not dispute that they have water issues.
A lot of this stuff is original pipes that were put in here in Trinidad in the 50s, probably. We have to get to a position where we can fix that infrastructure, and it's very expensive, as I'm sure you can imagine.
On Wednesday, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality confirmed to Fox 4 that it received a complaint regarding the water quality and an investigation is ongoing. It's unclear whether anyone has gotten sick from the water.
I've seen some Facebook posts where people have said they have gotten sick, but to me personally, I haven't heard anything.
In a post on May 10th, Trinidad Police Chief Charles Gregory doubled down on his decision to arrest Combs, calling the case cut and dry. He says claims citizens were hospitalized due to bacteria in the water are simply false and have only caused unnecessary fear and confusion in our community.
I really haven't seen anything like this before, David.
SMU constitutional law professor Dale Carpenter questions if a crime was committed and believes Combs' First Amendment rights may have been violated, even if it turns out Combs' post was inaccurate.
She's making a statement regarding a matter of great public interest, and so people sometimes make false statements on matters of great public interest, and they're allowed to do so. If we prosecuted and arrested everybody who made such claims, our jails would be overfilled.
Chief Gregory was not at Tuesday's council meeting, but the water issue was a topic of conversation.
The reason why everyone is here and the reason why Fox 4 is here is because your city is acting like tyrants.
Combs stands behind her post, and in a federal lawsuit filed Tuesday, she accuses the police chief of political retaliation related to her work as a citizen journalist. She claims multiple citizens made social media posts stating that they had personally been hospitalized or affected as a result of consuming the city's water.
I don't agree and don't think it's fair that the citizens pay for water they can't really use.
The lawsuit adds, speech about the safety of a community's drinking water is a quintessential matter of public concern entitled to the highest degree of First Amendment protection.
There's people saying that their appliances are getting ruined. They can't cook with the water. They can't bathe with it. They can't do laundry. A lot of them feel hushed and like they don't have a voice, and no one listens to them and no one takes them seriously.
The police chief has not responded to a list of questions we sent over to him via email. He is listed as a defendant in this federal lawsuit. So is one of his officers, a city council member, and the city of Trinidad.
All right, David, so you interviewed the mayor. Police chief didn't want to talk to you. I'm curious what the mayor's attitude or take on the police chief's actions regarding Jennifer Combs'
Well, I asked him if... Yeah, I asked the mayor if he agrees with that arrest, and he really wouldn't take a side. He told me, in his words, he does not feel it's appropriate to comment, just saying that the case has been turned over to the Henderson County District Attorney's Office for prosecution. I've reached out to the DA's office to see if they will give us any sort of comment, what they think about the case, but at this point in time, we have not heard back.
I'm sorry, are we still in the United States? You can't talk about problems in your city anymore. Problems that not just you are noticing, but also other residents are noticing as well. Claims that not even the mayor or government officials are even fighting back. Yet, just by talking about noticing it and spreading the word to other people, you can get arrested for it. What are we talking about here? This is only going to get worse once the digital ID comes. This is exactly what I was talking about, where if you talk outside the narrative or talk about things they don't like, they will shut your wallet off so you cannot buy or sell. It's going to get so much worse.
Found a hidden door.
This is a poor check.
All years of movie experience I've ever watched. I have to do this. So I screwdriver. You got a shot. Against the background. Oh no. Yep. No.
Want to hear another Missouri story? This story is going to take us to one of the creepiest places I think I've ever looked into. A place called Zombie Road. It's located in Wildwood outside of St. Louis, and the actual name of the road is Rock Hollow Trail. So its original name was the Lawler Ford Road. This road is said to be one of the most haunted roads, not just in Missouri, not just in America, but in the world. The road was first constructed just before the Civil War in 1860 and is allegedly built over one of the largest Native American burial grounds in the country. It's 2.3 miles long and has 13 bridges. I can't find anything specific about the bridges, like a specific story related to them, but there's got to be a significance to 13 bridges. So if someone knows, tell me. The road won't fit a car and is only open for pedestrians and bicyclists. The road opens a half hour before sunrise and closes a half hour after sunset. And apparently has a pretty strict no trespassing rule after dark, because there is a $1,000 fine if they catch you there after dark. The stories of what happens here are crazy. There's a million stories of ghosts of indigenous people, of Confederate soldiers, and of ghosts of children, industrial workers. It's also said to be absolutely full of shadow people. In a documentary called Children of the Grave, made in 2007 by the Booth brothers, supposedly caught footage of a shadow nest of children on camera. I think they're also the ones that supposedly caught this shot where you can see the shadow people in the trees. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to use that picture, so don't tell. People have also reported feelings of being watched, of odd noises, and even hearing a woman scream in the middle of the day. One of the ghosts that is supposedly haunting this area is that of Della Hamilton McCulley, the wife of a judge who was hit by a train here in 1876. Some say she is the reason that Zombie Road earned its name, because of the way she died, quote, with injuries so gruesome the remains were like a zombie. And before Wildwood was Wildwood, it was Glencoe, a thriving resort community. But with the decline of railroad travel, the town also declined. So along the road, there are many abandoned houses and old shacks. These buildings are said to be very active with spirits, like the ghost of an old woman who screams at people walking down the road. But of course, when they go look for whoever just yelled at them, there's nobody there. There's also the legend of the zombie killer. Says that somewhere in the 1950s, a crazed man escaped a mental hospital and disappeared somewhere down the road and began living in one of the old shacks, only coming out to murder some teen couples or young lovers looking for a place to be alone. And after he died, continued to haunt the area as a serial killer zombie. There's also said to be dark occult rituals that have taken place in the area, and there have been a high number of eerie and odd accidents. So, my Missouri friends, have you taken a walk down Zombie Road? I want to know.
That great video came from Amber Bowden Vance, and it's just very interesting the history that almost all these roads in the United States have. One of the more haunted roads in the United States can also be found in New Jersey. A lot of people talk about Clifton Road, but also Pole's Tavern Circle in South Jersey has a lot of eerie history, to the point that people have said that they've been chased by a black car that keeps up with them no matter what, and they also hear a lot of strange and eerie noises inside their car. One day I'll do an entire video on Pole's Tavern Circle. It's a very eerie highway.
In 2020, a group of hunters that go by the name Stuck in a Rut caught something on camera while hunting in a remote area of Idaho that to this day they cannot explain. Now, it should be noted that their first instinct was to believe that this was just wolves. However, many viewers have since speculated that this could be something else entirely. Take a look.
I think it'll pick up that sound. Yeah.
Now, since this video has taken new virality, many people have likened these noises to Bigfoot, even going as far as comparing the sound waves of each noise. Now, regardless if this was Bigfoot or not, it would be terrifying hearing this in the woods. But let me know, what do you think?
There are still people that are very adamant that what these individuals are hearing are just wolves. Heard wolves myself all my life being in New Jersey. Never really heard them quite like this, but I mean, I could be wrong. Now, I'm not saying it's Bigfoot, but it's just a reason you wouldn't catch me in those woods.
Let this be a reminder: if someone in the woods asks you the same question more than once, you probably shouldn't answer it. So back in 2016, a 25-year-old Wall Street banker named Matt decided to go on a solo camping trip near Mount Rainier in Washington. His first night out, everything felt normal. He found a quiet clearing, set up his tent, lit a small fire, had some dinner, and went to bed. Now, sometime in the middle of the night, around midnight, he wakes up and there's movement outside of his tent. He originally thinks that it's maybe just an animal, but the sound is way too deliberate, almost like the pitter-patter of human feet. So he slowly reaches over and barely cracks open his tent zipper, and he freezes. There is a man sitting right in front of his fire pit, staring into the fire. And he's just sitting there, staring into the dying embers. And then, like, as if he felt Matt watching him, the man slowly looks up, they lock eyes, and the man's eyes immediately widen as big as sand dollars, like he's been caught doing something that he knows he shouldn't have been, and without saying a single word, he stands up and sprints off right back out into the woods. Matt immediately jumps out of his tent, shines his flashlight into the trees, but there's nothing and there's no one there. There are no footsteps, no sound, just absolute silence. So the next morning, he packs up and hikes deeper into the forest, and over the next 2 days, he covers around 15 miles before setting up camp again in another clearing. That night, he's sitting by his fire when he hears something just behind him in the tree line, and it was the slow steps and the sound of leaves crunching. Then a voice from the darkness quietly says, "Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon?" And Matt's heart drops. He can't see anyone, but he knows it's the same guy. He just feels it. And he's trying to keep his voice steady and keep his composure. And he says, "No, I don't. I have no idea where that is." And then there's just silence from the man. Then the voice again gets a little closer this time, and it's a little more sharper. And he says, "Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon?" A little bit more forcefully. Matt grabs his flashlight and he swings it toward the trees. And there, half hidden behind one of the same trees, is this man, the same man, watching him, and he's not moving. And then again, from somewhere else, closer than before, he hears it again. "Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon?" And Matt jerks the light around, and now the guy is just a few feet away from him. Way too close for comfort. Way too close. So the man's eyes go wide again, and he bolts back off into the woods, and he takes off. Disappears once again. Matt doesn't sleep at all that night. He stands there with his knife until exhaustion, and he finally wins, and finally around 3 a.m., he crashes. The sun rises, he packs up everything, and he starts heading back towards his car. He's like, "I'm not staying, screw this." and he's practically running the whole way. But that night, he doesn't make it in time, and he has to camp out again. And this time, he doesn't even bother with the fire, and it's sometime during the middle of the night, he wakes up yet again to footsteps circling his tent. And they were slow, careful, just walking around him, the same ones from the night before, and it was all night long. Matt grabs his knife, not daring to move, not daring to breathe too loud or make a sound. Then, just before sunrise, like clockwork, the footsteps stop. And whatever was out there runs off again. And at first light, Matt gets out, packs up, and he takes off again, right? But once again, he runs out. He has to set up camp again, and he's exhausted, terrified, and he's trying to make it until morning, but he can't. And as he lays there, staring into the dark, he hears it again. From somewhere deep in the trees, the same voice. Do you know how to get to Bell's Canyon? And then something starts sprinting past his campsite, back and forth, over and over again. And whoever this guy is, he's making these inhuman animal-like noises. Like he's playing this game with Matt. And he's just waiting. So the second the sun comes up, Matt again doesn't hesitate, packs up, and he takes off, and he's sprinting towards his car. He does not stop until he reaches his car finally, and when he does, he gets inside, locks the doors, and just breaks down. He starts crying tears of relief, because somehow, over the course of 3 days, this man followed him for over 30 miles through dense forest with no gear, no light, no sound. And the only thing that he ever...
That video came from Mikey Grimm 13, and I heard a story like this a long time ago, but this is just another reason why I avoid solo camping. But I just feel like I've heard way too many nightmare stories, especially when it comes to being in the woods by yourself.